Alright, let's go ahead and finish up this area of our map. So I'll just zoom in a little bit here, and let's go ahead and create our line in the background. So I want to make sure that I have a black stroke and no fill, and I'll go ahead and just make sure my stroke is set to 2. Alright, let's get the pen tool, and I'll click up at the top. I'll hold the shift key and click at the bottom, and this will constrain a perfect vertical line. Alright, so I want this path to be in the background, behind everything else. Maybe they were different colors, or they will be different colors, and I want that line to go behind all of these other verticals. Okay? Excuse me, all these other horizontal lines. So I can do this a couple of ways. One is just take my path and drag down in the stack order. And now my path would be behind everything else. You could also go to the Object menu and Arrange and simply send to back. Either would work. Okay? Now, let's create our shape up at the top here. Just make sure I don't have anything left over up there. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in on this area. And let's go ahead and create our two shapes that will be our cross. Alright, so we'll have a white stroke for this, okay, and no fill on the background. So let's go ahead and get our pen tool, and I'm going to click, hold the shift key, and click. And this one will also, let's just make sure we have a weight of 2. Now, the original was off a little bit, so I want my plus sign to be perfectly aligned. So with our path selected, and I have the selection tool, I'll go up to Edit, and I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to go to Edit, and I'll paste in front. And this will provide a copy, the exact same size, in the exact same position. Now it doesn't look like anything happened, but the one in the background should be deselected and the one in the foreground is selected. So let's just place our cursor over the top right corner so we get the rotation feature. And I'm going to click and begin to drag, and if I hold the shift key I can constrain that drag to 45-degree increments. Alright, so now we have our plus sign. Let's go ahead and deselect our artwork, click on our default chips, and then I'll swap, and we'll take that stroke and set the stroke to none. So we just have a black fill. Let's get our rectangle tool and click and drag, and now we have our shape. Okay, I have the paths that we created. If I go over to my layers and I target, I can see those two paths, and then here's our shape. So I'll just take our shape and drag it below the two of them, like so. Okay, whoops. Alright, let's go ahead, deselect all of our artwork, then with the selection tool, click and drag a marquee over your box and your plus sign. Then we'll zoom out a little bit, and let's just do an option drag copy on this. So I'll place my cursor inside, click and begin to drag, hold the option key, I'll see the double arrows, then hold the shift key also, so you have the shift key and the option key, and we'll drag this down to the bottom like so. We'll zoom in, select the vertical path, and just press delete. Okay. Now again, I'll click and drag a marquee. I'll zoom out a little bit, use the grabber tool. Now let's use our move tool, and for right now I'm just going to move this up, but I want to make a copy of it also, so I'll hold the option key. So we'll do a drag copy, then I'll release, So I have a copy. Let's zoom in. This time, let's get the direct select tool and click and drag a marquee over just the top 2 points of our box. Use your arrow key to bring these points down. Click and drag a marquee over the bottom points. Okay? You can also select a path between 2 selected points and move the path. Be careful, you can move it this way. So I'm going to hold the Shift key to constrain that movement, and I'll move my path up. Okay? So either use the arrow keys or click between 2 selected or more points. Alright, I'm going to select these. I want these to be grouped so they're easy to move later on. So let's go ahead and group. And now I'll just take this element and bring it right over here. Alright, we should have just finished up that part of our map. Now we'll go on in the next video and we'll look at using different shapes.